Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. With that said, let's dive into what this week has in store for us. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So I am going to disappear. Ta-da! All right, so I'm going to give these a shuffle. We're going to get straight in. So I do want to mention that if you are not on my mailing list, yes, I know I keep banging on about it every week, but if you're not on my mailing list, you are not getting my weekly emails. You get one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and another on Friday. Yes, that's 3 times in your inbox that you are going to be hearing from little old me. All right, so for your first card, we've got the 7. So this is for the general energies of the week, right? We've got the 7 of Cups, which means it could be a little bit confusing out there, right? We've got the King of Wands, potentially someone spreading disinformation, so watch out for that. And then we've got the 6 of Swords, which means that things are improving, but they are improving slowly. The thing that the thing that I think a lot of people forget about this card is the 6 of Swords basically says that the better times are on their way, things are starting to change, but it doesn't mean that it happens overnight, right? So this is something that, like, this whole week, be careful, because there will be a little bit of a confusing kind of element to it. And then with the King of Wands, you know, one of the things that I've noticed is happening for some people, and it's definitely happening for me, is a lot of the shifts and changes that I'm making on a personal level with my work, with my spirituality, with all of it. It's unfortunately for me, or fortunately, whichever way you want to paint it, it's happening, you know, like, and I talked about this, right, this year. If you saw the Universal 9 video that I put out, one of the things that I talked about in that, one of the things that I talked about with the talk that I did with Anne Jersh, who, by the way, I can't wait to get on the channel. One of the things that I talked about with, I've forgotten who it was now. It was with Frank Clifford. One of the things that I said was, this year, a lot of the changes that we're making, it's like, you know, when you go to one of those restaurants where you have to see, like, where the kitchen is open so you can see them preparing everything. It's like all of the shifts and changes that are happening in a very visible way, right? It's like you can't hide behind the scenes and do it. Why? Because the King of Wands represents visibility, right? Aside from everything else. So that's the general energies, trends, and themes energies. So what's happening on the wider world stage? We've got the 7 of Swords, we've got the Star card, and we've got the Page of Cups. Yeah, just watch out for deception this week. Watch out for deception. Be careful this week, especially around things like internet fraud. You know, be really careful with your passwords, your PIN codes, especially for things like your online banking, etc. Be really careful with that. As I said, there's confusion is abounding anyway, and that 7 of Swords with the Star card can be like literal lies on the internet, or some kind of false flag, misrepresentation, etc. And then you add to this the Page of Cups, which is, you know, all in the feels. This is something around young people. You know, young people, I don't want to say children, but that is also a possibility. But it's like something that ends up being discovered as false information or lies. So be careful about what you buy into this week, right? Especially on the internet, because as we know, it's not always the clearest place to get your information from, right? So I'm going to give these a shuffle. Let's have a look what's going on for us all on that day-to-day level. All right. I'll put those there. I'll put these here. All right, so On Monday, we've got the Emperor and the Ace of Pentacles. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the confusion that shows up is around a banking or financial institution. That's quite possible. What I do like about this is on a personal level, this is a time where like everybody's getting really clear about their resources, which is, is a good thing. The other thing with the Ace of Pentacles, if you are going for a new job, if you're interviewing, if you're wanting to take things in new directions, this is about really amplifying that and going for it. This could be, for a lot of you, this could be a day of promotions. It could be where you're changing your job, but instead of going to the same thing, you're going to the job one higher up, which is great. This is also, there's going to be talks this week, especially on Monday, around the financing of education and what that actually looks like for the long term. For Tuesday, we've got the Star card. So we've seen this card already here. So whatever this thing is, this conversation, this information that's coming forward that we might want to be a bit wary about, Tuesday is where it shows up. Now on one of the, because that, what am I doing? It's the wrong card, but you know what? I'm going to leave it because there's a part of me that feels like that happened for a reason. So, and I don't believe in coincidences, but I had a little moment there. And the reason I think this is important is because the message that came to me was, this is kind of like, when TikTok came out and everyone was like, oh my gosh, get on TikTok, it's amazing, and all the rest of it. And then we found out that they were basically stealing and collecting everybody's data, like all the data from your phone, etc. So it's like whatever the trend or the fad is this week that's got everybody in a tizzy and it's amazing and they're getting swept up in it, just exercise a little bit of discernment. All right, whatever it is, just exercise just a little bit of discernment before you jump in on the bandwagon, just to make sure that it really is for you. Now, that's the heavy message. On the brighter side, this could be some kind of new technology, new idea. It could also be some kind of because remember, the Star card is that glimpse into the future. So this could be something where like the future is now, like something that we thought maybe we wouldn't have for 5 or 10 years yet is pushed, right? The timeline is pushed forward and it's like, bam, this is here now, right? So I'll be interested to see what is unveiled at this time. On Wednesday, we have the Death card, so endings and completions with the 10 of Pentacles. So the 10 of Pentacles is usually about the home or the dwelling. It's also a legacy card. And so when I see this with the Death card, for those of you that have elderly parents and grandparents who are already poorly, I'm sorry to say, but Wednesday it is possible that you might be saying a final goodbye to somebody. I hope that's not the case. But it is a possibility. Another way that this could show up is, do you remember what I said to you about the banking institution? Wednesday we could see one fold. Either that or like maybe somebody that holds a lot of mortgages, or like, I'm not saying it's going to be a crash, but there's, it might be the fear mongering around something along those lines. That's possible. And as I say, there's already a lot of confusion around this week anyway. So just keep that in consideration before you start sort of panicking about things. But yeah, Wednesday is a day to kind of watch out for. It's also, Wednesday is a really good day to figure out like what you want to put your resources into. On Thursday, we have the Magician, wrong deck graph, and we have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is usually a fire sign male. We've seen him before here. So the King of Wands shows up very strong, which tells me that on the wider world stage, a fire sign male, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, is likely to be a big feature of whatever's unfolding at this time. It's also possible, because you've got it with the Magician card, that we could see somebody elevating or taking a status that we didn't know was going to take place. On a more personal level, this is really about you positioning yourself to be seen for your expertise, for what really speaks volumes about what you're able to do, about what you're able to be. It's a really good day for things like public speaking, putting things out into the world. Just, yeah, I think Thursday's going to be a really, really awesome day. For Friday, you've got the Strength card and the Queen of Pentacles. Right, so Queen of Pentacles is usually an earth sign woman, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. So up until we get to like Thursday and Friday, this is about, sort of the interpersonal and the external. Whereas as we get into Thursday and Friday, it becomes more about the interpersonal. This, it becomes about relationships. It becomes around, around other people. The Queen of Pentacles with the Strength card, I think this is going to be a really powerful or very strong-minded woman comes forward and on the wider world stage is going to demand something in a really in a really sort of practical or tangible kind of way. It may be that she makes a move that's considered like a boss move in some way, which I actually think is awesome. The Strength card coupled with a Court card is usually somebody who's very physically strong, which makes me wonder if a world record is going to be broken by like a woman for some kind of sporting prowess or something along those lines. And then for the weekend, we have the Empress, hey, and the Chariot card. If you are traveling at this time, you're going to be having an absolute blast. I love this for you. If you are not traveling, this could be where you are finally making some progress with a goal or a desire around your home, your property, or your living situation. And particularly for those of you that have gardens, etc., this could be a week where you're really making progress on it, especially over the weekend. So you could be seeing something sort of really take shape or take form, which is really nice. So for our Your Next Move Oracle message, we have write down your wishes. Write down your wishes, and if you're going to move ahead with them, one thing I want to mention before I get into that, because this is important, that I've just spotted, we had the Ace of Wands fall on the Ace of Pentacles. Monday and Tuesday, and just with what I said here and the confusion, I want you to be really clear, because two aces can represent trickery. So you just want to be extra careful around this. And the fire sign male is very likely to be a Leo. The earth sign woman is very likely to be a Taurus. But this one, write down your wishes, right? This is a week for literary magic, right? Where you write down your hopes, goals, wishes, dreams, etc. Remember, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. Yes, I still offer personal readings, and at this point, I'm actually offering brand new services, which you'll be hearing all about anyway. With that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.